People who really watch the show and are huge fans of it will have lots of opinions about what the principals are wearing. Why did they pick that for her? She should have really been this. It's full of Easter eggs. The costumes don't follow the book. So if you're a diehard fan of the books, you won't be happy.
Don't expect to see any leprechauns.
Hi, I'm Nic Collins. I'm the hair and makeup designer on Bridgerton Season 4.
I'm Dougie Hawkes and I'm the associate costume designer looking after the men's costume.
My name's George Sayer. I'm assistant designer for women's wear.
My name is John Glaser and I'm considered the costume designer.
He is the costume designer, okay? Just want to make that very clear.
We're here in London to break down the Masquerade ball looks in Season 4 on Bridgerton. Bridgerton is set in the Regency era.
Using Regency as a basis, but we transform from Regency to a fantasy Regency. That we can include periods that suit the style rather than suit accuracy.
Our show started in 1813. We are now doing 1817, 1818. We'll be pushing into 1820 in the season 5. It's all based on real research from the period, from the paintings and anything that we can get our hands on. Also, this season is the first time that we've had to deal with fall. We've had to make lots of coats and outerwear.
We work really closely with our hair and makeup department and also the art department. When we designed a costume, we'll send over images and swatches. Everything's got to work together, including the sets.
The design for any character in the show always comes from the script and who the character is, what their background is, what their story arc is. And then we create mood boards for the look of that character to tell their story or their journey.
One thing that Nic always says is that in the beginning, once she establishes a hairstyle for a character, it pretty much maintains throughout the season. It's the clothing that is always evolving, but the hairstyle basically stays the same.
Unless you're the queen.
Unless you're the queen, it changes every week.
Season 4 Bridgerton wigs, I would not be able to put a number on how many wigs we have made. It's in the hundreds. We started with a masquerade ball and I think there was at least 100 to 150 wigs just for that one event.
We made 3 dresses. What'd you make? 4.
We just redressed them a lot.
Principal costumes that are distinctive, we can't use them again, so they get repurposed and maybe get passed on to background. It's a constant building of stock. So what we've effectively done over the last 6-7 years is create a costume house.
Because our style is so distinctive, it's really hard to go and hire it anyway, because it's not your traditional Regency costume.
Let's call it Bridgerton accuracy. It's based on something, but it's been Bridgetized.
That's good.
I like that, it's pretty good.
When I found out that the first event would be the Masquerade Ball for Season 4, we were really excited. It was great as a new team coming in to go straight into that level of creativity. It's Regency characters go into a ball in fancy dress, their version of what their fancy dress would look like. So it's really as eclectic. Each person has their own unique style for this ball or character that they base their costume upon.
If you went to a real masquerade ball today, some people would come in their street clothes and some people would go crazy and have their costumes, and that's what we wanted to show.
Just that.
Even though it looks fanciful, it's based on what we thought people from the ton would actually do.
We began our research looking at other masquerades that have been portrayed in film and television to see ideas or good things and bad things.
It could have been Regency or it could have been Georgian. We even did like a 60s wig. The different styling with the wigs all came from different periods for the last kind of 500 years.
We had to dress, including principals, probably upward of 180 to 200.
For the principal characters, with the writers and us, we came up with themes for them.
With the masks, you have to think about how they're going to stay on. because the actor wouldn't want to be able to have to stay in the mask for 12 hours filming a day. Some of the masks were put on sticks, some of them are tied into the wigs and the hairstyle. We had to think about the makeup, and also we had to think about how the mask fits the face shape to be comfortable for that longer time of filming.
We were really excited about doing it. It's a really good way to open a season. And the whole team were really on board with it.
Created a great energy.
Yeah, all our makers were really excited to be doing something different. They could go wild with it.
It wasn't difficult to hire people. Everybody heard that we were going to open with a masked ball. Everybody wanted to work with us. So it was great.
I would give anything to go to a ball.
So now we're going to look at some of the costumes from Masquerade.
Wanted to see Benedict in a black costume because it was going to play off against him seeing the visionary of the Silver Lady. My concept was a poet, writer, artist, so I used Shakespeare as that historical character to base this on. He arrives in a very dishevelled way as a sort of devil-may-care character on horseback, so hence a riding coat, which he normally wears anyway, and his riding boots. However, in his dishevelled way, he still has a very dangerous and dashing edge to him.
So this dress originally in the book belonged to Sophie's grandmother. Initially we played around with an earlier style dress and it just didn't work for us and it didn't work for the producers. So we then brought it forward to Regency and it became her aunt's dress. So there's not much time difference between the two of them. And we also wanted to avoid the traditional Cinderella dress with the big skirts, and so we thought by going Regency, it kind of makes a difference between what everybody's seen before and traditionally thinks of as Cinderella. Benedict has to really notice her stand out at the ball, but we wanted there to be a simplicity about her dress that would also help her stand out from everyone else. And the starting point was finding the base fabric, actually. We worked with a company in Italy who designed the overlay, and then onto that we worked onto the surface, incorporating vintage pieces and contemporary embellishment with our amazing embellishment team.
And because Sophie was to have made the mask for her sisters, and we started off with a much smaller mask, but it was discussed that Benedict couldn't recognize who she was, so we had to cover the whole face. And this is the glove that came from the attic, and this is the little family crest. This is what gives them the clue as to where the person that wore this dress came from. One of the smallest things that we do forget about is this little necklace, which was given to Sophie by her mother, and it's amethyst, which is the stone of Korea at the time. It's a little item that travels through the entire season and it tells a long story.
These are two characters in the book. We picked them out as being very good characters. They're a very powerful couple in the production, so we wanted to bring that also onto the floor of the Masquerade Ball. We actually wanted a nod towards the 60s movie, which we really stuck to quite well. I thought it was quite good. I'm honoured to say my father worked on that movie, so it was a nice nod really to incorporate a little bit of the colour that was used on Richard Burton's costume on this costume.
With Cleopatra, after we'd done the initial research, a fabric supplier that we use actually had this fabric, and it had been woven and beaded with us in mind, pre us actually having the script. Once our buyers found this, it was amazing. It was like finding the Holy Grail. So the shape of it is also dictated by the pattern. John wanted Cleopatra's jewellery to reflect the colour of the Kent house, which is why we've got this light pale turquoise, and the dark lapis lazuli is kind of more ancient Egyptian. And it all ties in with the
cape,
yeah, so it brings the couple closer together.
In any historical reference, we don't see Antony and Cleopatra wearing masks.
Being a masquerade ball, we looked at funeral masks.
Classical mask, but with classic embellishment here.
And again, this is a situation where the collaboration with hair and makeup is very important, because this costume, even though it's pretty, doesn't make any sense unless you see the mask and you see Cleopatra's wig.
Yeah, the wig
all
was
together,
fantastic.
Let's have a look at some of Queen Charlotte's wigs. This is the wig for the Masquerade ball for Queen Charlotte. The outside of the wig is created with twisted hair, and this is to represent the universe and the stars. George was very much into astronomy. Inside is a little replica of one of Queen Charlotte's crowns that was given to her by George, and we've replicated it out of hair. One question we are always asked is about the weight of these wigs. We try to make them as light as possible, and the cages really help us out. As you can see with this wig, the cage is actually incorporated into the wig. Underneath all of these are cages. The process of making these wigs starts with the design. From the design, a cage maker comes in and builds the cage, which is what holds the hair. There's a lot of hair to put on these. Then the design is broken down into elements. It can take 6 to 8 weeks to make all the elements. And then eventually, when all elements are ready, the wig is assembled together and styled. She has 19 wigs altogether in this season. This wig is created for Igbo braids, which are a traditional braid, which represents strength and pride, which I think absolutely fits for the Queen. This wig is one of the more traditional wigs of the styling. It's got the waves, and at the back, it's covered in hair feathers. All these feathers were made from hair. It took a lot of labour to make all these feathers. The Masquerade ball wig probably gave us the most sleepless nights because we wanted to create this cage out of hair, but how do we actually get it to stand by itself? It is hair. Anyway, we worked out a magic formula, and as you can see, it stands by itself. I'm really hoping that the viewer just aesthetically thinks it's like a dream. It doesn't matter where the camera moves, there's something to visually look at and in awe. Some of the styling, the costumes, the detail, the room itself is beautiful, the interactions.
It was the costumes, it was the set, it was the lighting, it was the hair, it was the makeup.
It's absolutely worth every minute of hard work.
The finished result is quite spectacular.